How was my 2023? How much time do we have? um, yeah, 2023 started off really well. I was doing great in my career. I had some good friends. Acting was doing really well. I thought I was killing it. And about after the first week of the year, a lot of things changed. So I used to use this thing called Nair, and if you don't know what that is, basically it's like a hair removal cream. But for whatever reason, I had some kind of reaction to it, and these like dime-sized zits started appearing all over my body. And I went to a lot of doctors, a lot of specialists, dermatologists. They ended up doing a biopsy on one of them, and they just really couldn't figure out what it was. And so from January to April, I was dealing and struggling with this, and I felt disgusting. I didn't want to be around people. It was just a really bad time, and so I isolated myself. While this was going on, I was also in the process of finding things out about certain friends that I had, and they weren't good things. There were some toxic people in my life, and some of them I knew were toxic, some of them I didn't. I was struggling with a health aspect on top of deciding that I needed to cut certain people out of my life who just did not have my best interest in mind. And so on top of already isolating myself, I was then cutting out people who I knew were not healthy for my well-being. I had never felt so alone in my whole life. So in the spring, I had a good friend of mine who invited me to go down with him to Fort Lauderdale. He was going to be renting a house down there and had asked me to come. I hadn't gone on any vacations or anything, and so I was like, yeah, why not? Let's go. So I go, and I end up having a really good time. This was when I was starting to recover from my skin condition, and I ended up meeting a mutual friend of theirs. This mutual friend was a flight attendant, and I was kind of talking to him about the job. I had always thought about being a flight attendant. I just had never, taken the opportunity because I wanted to, try the acting thing and do that. But as I was talking to him more and more about it, it definitely was piquing my interest. And why not just try, see how far you can get, and then if you end up getting it, you can make a decision from there if you really want it. So obviously, if you've ever applied for a flight attendant position before, you know how difficult it can be. There's usually a lot of steps, a lot of assessments, virtual interviews, in-person interviews, and it was really difficult. But once I got to the final interview, and I found out that I got the job, I was really excited. Traveling is something that's always really been important to me. I'd never had the time or really the money or the resources to do it before. And so this was a really exciting opportunity. But I knew that if I took this job, a lot of things in my life were going to change. I was going to have to move. So I go through the training, meet some incredible people, get assigned Denver as my base, and I had never lived outside of Ohio before, so now I was figuring that out. Ended up selling most of my things, moving to Denver, starting over, and I can honestly say that it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I'm just now celebrating my 100th flight. That's crazy because I've only been working for about 4 months. I love living in Denver. I've met some incredible people out there. I still have some great friends and family in Ohio, obviously, but I'm just so happy that I made that decision to move. So yeah, I guess if I could sum up my 2023, with a message to people, it would be that sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. I was kind of feeling at the end of 2022, I was feeling a little complacent, and that kind of followed me into 2023. And with me losing so many of my friends who were kind of the foundation keeping me in Ohio, it really allowed me to flourish, to accomplish what it was that I knew I needed to do next. And taking that step can be hard, it can be difficult. And what I would say to people is, if you're in a situation, in a city, in a job, in a friendship, relationship that you know isn't really going anywhere, or isn't going to give you what you want, it's okay to leave it. It's okay to do something crazy and spontaneous and move on. I know that if I were still in Ohio at this moment and still stuck there, I would not be happy. And so I would encourage people, if you're feeling like how I did, you're going through some significant changes, it's okay to push yourself. It's okay to get uncomfortable, and really see what you're capable of. My name is Lane, and this has been my 2023.